Hello and welcome back to the channel. Crop deaths. Ugh. It seems to be the new gotcha, you stupid vegan. I swear I can't go online without somebody using this tu quo qui logical fallacy. But vegans kill animals too. Well, in today's episode of the grey areas of veganism, we break down this argument, look at the facts and ask ourselves the question, are crop deaths something vegans should be taking more seriously? My name's Alistair, this is Plant-Based Logic. Let's get into the video. First, I want to tackle the claim that more animals are killed in the production and harvesting of plant crops. Many ex and anti-vegans and animal ag pushers will argue that vegans cause more harm and kill more animals by eating plants versus pastured raised animals. They cite a now heavily debunked and poorly calculated 2003 study by Stephen Davies that showed that consuming grass-fed cattle would result in less animal death than if we consumed a vegan diet, i.e. wild animals being killed in the production and harvesting of plant crops. In a follow-up paper by Gavrik Matheny, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name Gavrik, identified a crucial error in Davis's calculation. Davis wrongly assumed equal amounts of land will produce equal amounts of food, when in fact the same amount of land would produce much more food when used to grow crops directly for human consumption. Think about how much land is used for cattle production. Imagine that scale when calculating animal harvesting death. Way off. Once the calculation was corrected, Davis's original 2003 study, the one that argued against a vegan diet, actually made a positive case for a vegan diet. Thanks, Stephen Davis. But this idea that vegans kill as many or more animals than a meat-based diet is proliferated and is used to rationalize killing animals. And I see it all the time from ex-vegans, hell-bent on doing mental gymnastics to try to justify eating defenseless animals again. And I know I've said it more than once and I'll continue to say it on this channel, any way in which the meat and dairy industry can throw doubt into the mix to murky the water or weaken the vegan argument to protect their industry and their massive profit margins, they will do it. They are the merchants of doubt. So what is the difference between plant crops versus animal agriculture and animal deaths? A comprehensive study completed by Animal Visuals in 2009 breaks down the numbers of animals killed directly for slaughter as well as through crop harvesting to produce 1 million food calories. As you can see, more animals are killed during production and harvesting of beef than all the plant-based crops put together. You see, cattle production requires the trapping and killing of predator animals. Also, for the vast amount of land required for cattle grazing, farmers use non-targeted trapping and poisoning. This non-targeted trapping and poisoning is literally that, non-targeted. It doesn't discriminate against targeted wildlife and other animals. By reducing predators, the whole ecosystem is degraded as a whole. Given the integral role predator animals play in the ecosystem, they keep larger prey numbers in check. You kill the predators, you blow out the numbers of deer, for example. And then you have idiots like Joe Rogan saying, deer are overpopulating, so we better go out there and kill them. As opposed to looking at the actual underlying issue with why deer are overpopulating in the first place. Okay, to the grey area of veganism now. To produce fruits, grains, and vegetables, it is not necessary to kill animals directly. However, some wild animals are killed in the process of planting and harvesting plant-based foods on a large scale. Some possible causes of these deaths are from farm machinery, such as harvesters, plows, or tractors. Also, the use of chemical pesticides or direct poisoning or trapping of animals who pose a threat to crops. Yeah, it isn't good. As Davis said in his original paper, although accurate estimates of the total number of animals killed by agronomic practices from plowing to harvesting are not available, some studies show that the numbers are quite large. Okay, this is interesting. How large? Well, from that 2009 Animal Visuals study, they stated that Davis used a study done on field mice in England and from a study done on sugarcane fields in Hawaii. In the English study, 33 field mice were fitted with radio collars and tracked before and after harvest. The researchers found that only 3% of them were actually killed by the combine harvester, amounting to 1 mouse. An additional 52% of them, 17 mice, were killed following harvest by predators such as owl and weasels, possibly due to their loss of the crop cover. It is unknown how many of these mice would have been eaten by owls or weasels anyway. So drawing on everything that we understand, anyone who argues that vegans contribute to more animal death is just wrong. It doesn't mean that vegans are off the hook just yet. Although the crop death numbers are still low, and incredibly low compared to animal agriculture, they still exist. Is this something as vegans we should be concerned about? I mean, yes, absolutely. Animals are dying that don't need to. We live in a very non-vegan world, and vegans make up such a small part of this world. And the farmers who grow our crops, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say they probably aren't vegan. So when it comes to the production of food, animals really aren't very high on their list of priorities. Actually, it's funny, when I talk to people who use crop deaths as an argument against veganism, I actually argue that crop deaths is an argument for veganism. The more the world moves towards a vegan mindset, the more care will be taken to ensure animals are well looked after and their needs taken into consideration. Also, not only is large-scale monoculture and modern farming practices bad for the animals, it's also linked to soil quality depletion, leading to erosion and runoff, resulting in nitrate-polluted waterways because of the overuse of pesticides and chemical fertilizers as well. Listen, the list goes on, and I am definitely not a fan, nor am I defending large-scale monoculture. There are alternatives, and I'm so excited for the future. Although it's not super popular yet, there is a practice called veganic farming, or animal-free agriculture, which utilizes crop rotation, better soil management, plant diversity, also using slow-release plant-based carbon fertilizers, unlike the quick-release nitrogen fertilizers used in conventional farming. I've left an article in the show notes below that also goes into the productivity and profitability of these veganic practices versus conventional farming practices, showing that not only is it more productive than conventional practices, it's actually over 8 times more profitable than the large-scale farming that we're using today. There is also aquaponics, aeroponics, and other modern ways technology is changing the way our food is produced, using less resources, less land, and having less impact on the planet as a whole. Okay, all that being said, even in the current situation with monoculture and everything as it is today, all things being equal, intent really is the main argument here. We don't want animals to die when people are growing our fruits and vegetables. We don't. The intention of vegans is to, as practically as possible, reduce the unnecessary death of animals. Now, even if you're living butt naked in the bush growing berries from the reeds of the river, you're still going to cause some harm. We are trying our best to minimize that harm by not contributing to the killing of animals for food. As I mentioned before, as the mindset changes, as the world changes and becomes more vegan focused, and animals become more of a priority, we can advocate for the changes that will result in less crop deaths. All in all, I actually think crop deaths is one of the worst arguments against veganism. Yet it's held up as this holy grail of gotcha, you stupid vegan. Crop deaths just highlight how far we have to go when it comes to animal liberation and how we as the human race view other animals. Grey area of veganism? Maybe. However, I see this as veganism is just getting started. Hey, if you like this video, you might also like my video, Is Cannibalism Vegan? Grey Areas of Veganism video. Check that one out. My name is Alistair, this is Plant-Based Logic, and until next time, bye for now.